peaches, a lot of corn, a lot of apples, a lot of everything. We've got so much food that we can't even eat it all. So if we got all this extra food, how are 17 million kids in America struggling with hunger? I just don't get it. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gathers surplus food and gets it to the hungry kids who need it. They can get you food even if you live in Idaho or Alaska or somewhere crazy like that. This isn't complicated. We got extra food and we've got hungry kids. Feeding America's done the math. Now it's your turn. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. I know you got internet on your phone, so what are you waiting for? We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
What'd you do this time, Brad?
I'm in the doghouse after my hunting trip last weekend.
Yeah, I was too. I blew off our date for an FSU game.
How'd you get out of the doghouse?
Stillwater's Day in Medical Spa. I got her a gift card. It took 3 minutes at swmedspa.com. She booked it this Saturday.
Saturday? So 9 holes then?
Tea time's at 8.
To enjoy a hassle-free guys' weekend, let her relax at Stillwater's Day in Medical Spa. Visit swmedspa.com. Stillwater's Day in Medical Spa, voted Best Day Spa 8 years in a row.
Hi, this is Thane Taylor from the Sleep Center. For over 20 years now, the Sleep Center has been known as Pensacola's mattress experts. But did you know that the Sleep Center is also Pensacola's adjustable bed, futon, cabinet bed, and beanbag experts? The Sleep Center opened in Pensacola in 1995 with the main goal of being the area's one-stop shop for all your bedding needs. Since then, we have become Pensacola's oldest and largest bedding superstore and have the highest Google rating of any store on the Gulf Coast. So if you want better sleep without all the fuss, come to the Sleep Center and leave the rest to us.
Our Pensacola Wahoos are back for another season, and with the new season comes some fresh and new changes. Our Wahoos are now the new AA affiliate of the Minnesota Twins, and they have a new broadcast home here in Pensacola, right here at your hometown station for hometown sports, ESPN Pensacola 945. Catch all the Wahoos action from home and away with Chris Garagiola. Wahoos baseball presented by Denny's on the new official flagship station for the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 945 and ESPNpensacola.com.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
All sports, all the time. ESPN Pensacola, 94.5 WYCT Pensacola.
The following has been produced by Talk Football LLC. Former Florida Gators quarterback, NFL quarterback, and NFL head coach. Coach K. Stevenson has a resume second to none, and now he's sharing his insider information with you. Talk Football with Coach K starts right now on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT and streaming on our website, ESPNpensacola.com. Welcome into Talk Football with Coach K. It is noon on Monday, July 1st. Hey, welcome into July. July 4th going to be right around the corner on Thursday, and it's going to be a lot of fun with Sertoma obviously going on in downtown Pensacola. Going to be having a great day down there with fireworks on display at 9 o'clock that night, so hope to see you out there. Going to be a lot of fun again Thursday for 4th of July, but we are here to talk some football on today's show. And Coach, we've got a lot to talk about here and a lot to cover as we continue to just get ready for the season. And we are now finally it is safe to say in the last month without football for this year, Coach, because once we get through this month, we get through the first 24 days of August, and we will have football as Florida is set to take on Miami from Orlando. Expected to be a great game down there between those two teams, and maybe it could be something that we see renew a rivalry that hasn't really been that prominent in college football, but maybe this game to start off the 2019 season, celebrating the 150th year of college football, maybe this actually could be something that sparks that rivalry once again.
Well, I hope so. I'd like to see Florida and Miami renew what was a good rivalry at one time, but no, that could happen. You're right. Now we got here in July, we got pro teams going to camps the end of July.
That's right, yeah.
And I think August 1st, they play the Hall of Fame game.
Wow.
So football's not too far off.
That's a great feeling to have, and I know a lot of our listeners will feel the same way. All right, Coach, I want to stay in college football here because I want to take a look at the situation where we have these top teams that are contenders inside college football for a national title, and I want to take a look at their upcoming 2019 season, Coach, because this is a situation to where you look at these teams, and every team in college football, no team is without question. So I want to kind of break this down and look at each and every single one of these national title contenders. And this is based off of a ranking according to ESPN. So this is an ESPN article you can go and check out where they're talking about this. Coach, we started off with Alabama, and their big questions, first and foremost, the big if for them is if the secondary can cut down on the glitches. You look at this national title game, the secondary gave up a lot to that Clemson offense. Now, granted, they were playing against a very talented quarterback and a very talented receiving core, but Coach, also at the same time throughout the season last year, that secondary was very susceptible to big plays in big-time games. So, Coach, the secondary has to cut down on the glitches. And also, can Steve Sarkisian make a difference in the red zone for Alabama's offense? Because they struggled in the red zone last year, and we all know the situation with kickers. Alabama gets in the red zone. It's best for them they score a touchdown, not rely on a field goal.
Well, there are always questions with any team, regardless of where you're rated or how good you look. Certainly, Sarkisian is one of the big ones. We said last year before the season, probably the weakest point of that Alabama football team was their secondary. They were all young. They lost a number of kids. And just everybody they had coming back was a youngster. Had not played. They had no experience. They came along during the year, did enough to win, even though they weren't a feared secondary. And then, like you said, Clemson just let them up throwing the football. Now they're going to be better this year. You can bank on that, and you can bet that Saban has done an outstanding job coaching in the off season. I think he's probably taken a lot of that on himself. Now, what Sarkisian brings to the table, we're going to see. We're going to see soon enough. But I don't know. I have my doubts there. But listen, you're talking about Alabama, and you're talking about a good quarterback, very good quarterback, and you're talking about one of the best receivers in the country. So it's going to be hard to mess that up. They always get great running backs. They should be okay up front. So it's going to be hard to mess that up. But anyway, you're right. That is a big question mark.
All right, Coach, the next team on this list is the team that actually beat Alabama in the national title game a year ago. Coach, take a look at the Clemson Tigers. First and foremost, you got to get over that hangover. You can't be complacent. You can't live off of what happened in last season, or else you'll fall in this upcoming season. And also, Coach, a big question mark for them, their entire defensive line left in the NFL draft this past offseason. So, Coach, they're going to have to rebuild that front seven. And, Coach, you've got to rebuild that front seven, but you also got to protect from that hangover and being complacent there in Clemson if you're Dabo Swinney.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Sometimes the toughest thing to do is to get everybody back down to earth and ready to play football, and understand that what you did last year is not going to make a dime's worth of difference with the people you're playing this year. And they're going to play a tough schedule for an ACC team because they pick up Texas A&M there, which is going to be a difficult game for them. But they play them at home. Yeah, they're going to face that that hangover, as you call it. That's a good term. And they've got to replace those defensive players, and that doesn't come easy. they're going to be, keep in mind, it's not just the talent. They may have some kids coming in who are just about as talented, but their techniques and there's the working together that makes the defensive line and linebackers better. And that's going to take some time. It's not going to just happen first game of the year. So how they blend it going into the year is going to make a big difference.
All right, Coach, and now for the Georgia Bulldogs. They actually have 3 question marks here, according to this article. You take a look at them. First and foremost, it's if James Coley can make a difference in the red zone. You take a look at what we said with Steve Sarkisian with Alabama. You take that, multiply it. Georgia had some big-time issues in the red zone last year in the game against Florida in Jacksonville. A goal line stand by Florida's defense right there in the second half was big, and actually was a big reason Florida kept it so close until halfway through the fourth quarter when Georgia was able to pull away. But, Coach, you take a look at their red zone offense from a year ago. It's actually worse than Alabama's was. James Coley coming in to hopefully kind of change things there and change the narrative of red zone offense for the Georgia Bulldogs. But also, Coach, Dan Lanning's got to get pressure up the middle on the defensive side of the ball. And that defensive front seven doesn't need to be so flexible. And what I mean by that is they would give up big rushing plays. They would give up holes and gaps in the run game. They need to tighten that stuff up because they're going to be taking on Florida once again, who's got a good stable of running backs. LSU always has great running backs. And then, of course, you mentioned the running back position for Alabama.
Yeah, when people used to talk about bend but don't break, and I never liked that defense that would bend too much either. There's just so much that you can recoup from, and certainly the psyche has a lot to do with it when you're giving up big chunks of yardage. I think coaching will have something to do with it offensively, and I think that they're probably going to improve. And the reason I say that is because of the quarterback prom. It's another year being the starting quarterback, and he's done wonders. He's had a great career there. So I think because he's there, they do have one receiver, even though he doesn't get much publicity. They have one receiver, can't recall his name right now. But they will have backs, and they've got a couple of backs coming back from last year. They did lose one back, the good one, but they're going to be good enough. You got to be able to do both, run the football and throw the types of passes that you have to throw in the red zone. And there's small windows, there's screening, there's picking, there's all that you have to be able to do. And people have to work the red zone and work it very, very hard to be good down there.
All right, Coach, our next team we're going to be taking a look at off of this list. Again, we're not going to be taking a look at every single team on this list because there are teams like Washington and Washington State that are on this list. We're just going to focus on LSU. And again, if you want to look at the entire list because maybe we don't mention a team that you cheer for, you can find this on the college football page at ESPN.com. Let's move on now to Coach to LSU. And the big question here, Joe Burrow's last season growth was real, and we'll find that out when the season starts off because obviously week 2 they have a very important game against Texas in Austin. And Coach, Joe Burrow was a guy who was able to grow throughout the year last year. He's going to need to continue to grow if this LSU offense is going to be any better than it was a year ago. Obviously, a new offensive coordinator in there for the Tigers, but also, Coach, their second game is LSU's running game has to become LSU's running game. It has to be what we saw with Leonard Fournette. It has to be that hardcore running, dominant run game inside the SEC. And the running game mixed with Joe Burrow is really what's going to spell out the year for LSU this year.
Yeah, well, this is going to be extremely interesting because, as you know, they've brought in another offensive coach who's spread them out now. They're going to use a lot of the 5 receiver sets, which is going to eliminate the back. I think LSU will always be dependent on the running game to a certain extent. But we're going to see how they do this. I think the quarterback, no question, Joe Burrow is the key to success for LSU and how they do with the new offensive system. But I think that depends on him. And I really believe that Burrow will have a good year. I understand that he's having a good off season, that he's working very hard with their skilled people over there, their personnel. He's getting along with everybody maybe a little more as a leader now. So all that's going to add up, and he's the guy. As he goes, LSU will go.
All right, Coach, let's move now to the Texas Longhorns. They're the next team we're going to talk about here. They've got a couple of different questions here for the Texas Longhorns and Tom Herman in 2019. If Texas can figure out how to run the ball without getting Sam Ehlinger hit too much, and of course the big play blue chippers are going to have to actually step up and make big plays for this Texas offense, and not to mention they are going to be young in the secondary position. So, Coach, those are three areas of concern. That running attack without Sam Ehlinger, because, Coach, you don't want him running the football and getting too banged up, because that's your starting quarterback. You don't want him getting too banged up to the point to where he has to sit out a couple of games, especially middle of the year when you hit that crucial part of the season where you're playing teams like an Oklahoma or like a Texas Tech there inside the Big 12. So, Coach, that's going to be a big thing, but also big plays. You've got all those players that are capable of making big plays on the offensive side for the Longhorns. They've got to step up and actually make those plays now.
Yeah, and Ehlinger, when you're talking about him running with the football, now he's not a dud. You know, he's a pretty good athlete, but he's not the best or the most well-built physical specimen to be running the ball all the time. You're right. He can't do that, and I don't think they're going to put him in that position. I really don't. But here again, Jordan, as the quarterback goes, to a large extent, Texas is going to play. Now, Texas is going to be better defensively. I think they'll be good up front. Should be in pretty good shape with the running game, and they got a good quarterback in Ehlinger. So it's all looking up. They've got more experience. They've got more confidence in what they're doing now, and Herman will have them ready to play. So you got to think the future looks pretty good for Texas.
All right, Coach, how about the Florida Gators? You look at them going into year 2 with Dan Mullen. Felipe Franks improved drastically under the Dan Mullen system, especially the last few games of the year last year in 2018. And, Coach, that is the first if for the Florida Gators. Late 2018, Felipe Franks is the permanent Felipe Franks for Florida. Also, if he has a go-to weapon, that offensive line is able to continue to keep him clean inside the pocket. And Todd Grantham's defense taps back on the recklessness just a little bit. What I mean by recklessness is there was a lot of situations where there was some encroachment or some zone infraction calls by the defense because those players are just a little too aggressive trying to come across the line there, Coach, and that kind of would give the opposing team extra life. It would make them a little closer to the first down sticks, or it would give them a first down. And, Coach, that's something that Todd Grantham and that defense for Florida has to work on, kind of dialing back on, so those penalties don't give their opposition those extra yards that they normally wouldn't get.
Yeah, well, you got to have a well-disciplined football team if you plan to have any significance in the final analysis, as to playoffs or conference titles or anything like that. You got to be well disciplined. So I think you're right. I think Grantham will do that. He really has done a heck of a job with that defense down there. And as you say, Mullen did a good job with the quarterback. So they should come out of the box with a heck of a lot more momentum and confidence this year. But they've got a tough schedule, and it's going to be listen, they could lose 2 or 3 ball games very easily. I think they may even be better than last year and not win as many ball games. So, and now to get over the hump to get to the playoffs, they're going to, what they're going to have to do? They're going to have to get to the SEC championship game. That's probably going to be against Alabama, and they're going to have to win it to get into the playoffs. I don't see that happening this year, but they're probably going to be a little better, and they're edging up. Keep in mind, Florida's always got some excellent talent that's available to them to recruit, so they should keep getting a little better and a little better.
All right, Coach, our next team we're going to be taking a look at, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They were in the playoffs a year ago. Coach Ian Book is back at the quarterback position for them, but they do lose Miles Boykin. And, Coach, for them, that's got to mean that they do not lose the big pass play. He was their big-time, big play target in 2018. So, Coach, they're going to be relying on him to or relying on the other receivers to step up and fill that void that he left when he departed. And also, Coach, they've got to improve with the running game. They've got to, once again, a team that's got to improve on the red zone offense, and that front seven for the defense has to find a new playmaker as it looks like they have lost guys like Jalen Elliott will be returning, and they'll be expecting him to be one of the guys that steps up for that front seven.
Yeah, Notre Dame's going to be a good football team, I think. And here again, let's step away and just look at it. Quarterback. This kid came on last year, played very well. In fact, much better quarterback play than they've been getting for 3 or 4 or 5 years. And he was just a youngster. And he had that good year, so he's going to come back. Now, keep in mind, he's going to be better. He's going to have a heck of a lot more confidence in what he's doing. And he's going to have momentum with those other kids. They're going to work together. Now they'll have an off season. Whereas last year in the off season, he was not really counted on to be the starter or be the big honcho. Now he is. So it'll make a difference. And that improvement between the first and second year is real. I mean, they usually do improve. So I look for Notre Dame to be pretty tough. I really do.
All right, Coach, let's take a look now at Texas A&M, and we are getting close to a break, so we'll take a break right after we look at Texas A&M here, but Coach wanted to fit the Aggies in. Coach, they've got some young guys that need to prove that they have quality depth there, and those young guys can step up and play. That's going to be one of the big questions for Texas A&M, but also passing game. Again, Coach, the passing game has to step up for the Texas A&M Aggies. You've got Kellen Mond coming back as your starting quarterback. They need to take that next step with him under that Jimbo Fisher offense. And of course, you got to start looking at the defensive side of the ball, Coach. That front seven's got to step up and do a better job of maybe, if you will, causing havoc inside the backfield for the opposing offense.
Yeah, and I think Texas A&M is just going to. We've talked about it, and I won't beat that band and beat that drum anymore. But I think they're going to continue to improve. I think they're a good football team now. They'll be a better football team this year. People better watch out. I think they'll be a better football team next year and the year after than they are right now. So they just got an awful lot going for them. And they're going to be coached hard, coached well, good disciplined football team, good players. I see Texas A&M being a real wild card here in getting into the race. Think about what they'll have to do now. To do that, they've got to beat Alabama and LSU, Auburn, Florida. They got to keep those people, and probably got to go beat Clemson too. They got to beat them. Then they're going to have to play. They will have won the West, and then they'll play and have to play Georgia or Florida. Probably one of those two for the SEC championship game. They'll have to win it and then get into the playoffs. Tall order. But if anybody's capable of sneaking up and doing it, it's Texas A&M. So, look out, SEC. They're on the prowl.
All right, Coach. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll take our first time out of the show when we come back. There's a couple more teams on this list we want to get to, so we'll take a look at those teams, Auburn being one of them. And we'll talk about the Auburn Tigers when we come back right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
Free offer contingent on subscription. Pay shipping and handling. Cancel anytime. Message and data rates may apply.
When did it become okay for men to be lazier, softer, fatter? We need to bring the men of this country back to greatness. And it's easier than ever with Ageless Male Max, a patent-pending formula with an ingredient that helps boost your total testosterone, promoting greater increases in muscle size and twice the reduction of body fat percentage than exercise alone. Plus, an amazing 64% increase in nitric oxide, which can be handy in the gym and in the bedroom. Take your manhood to the max by trying your first 30-day bottle free when you text the word BEST to 606060. Finally, a formula that boosts total testosterone. If your results with Ageless Male Max are too intense, please decrease use. For your free bottle, text BEST to 606060. Text BEST to 606060.
Don't drop the ball this football season. Make Tom Thumb your game day destination. We are your first round pick for snacks, chips, dips, and drinks. Are you tailgating before the game? Don't get blindsided. Head to Tom Thumb for all your supplies. Score big savings with our rewards card. You'll earn 4 fuel points for every $1 spent in store. From hot dogs and buns to ice and propane, Tom Thumb has you covered to help you enjoy the game. For the ultimate game day, team up with Tom Thumb, the local store for local champions.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming on our website, ESPNpensacola.com. Welcome back into Talk Football with Coach K. I'm Jordan Glass, joined alongside me as always, Coach K. And if you want to be a part of today's show, you can always contact us by phone or text 850-972-1945. Again, that number 850-972-1945, 972-1945. And we're just rolling through today's show. And Coach, we're going through this list here of these possible playoff national title contenders, and basically the stumbling blocks that could occur for them throughout the year, I should say. And basically, Coach, their biggest questions on the year. But I know you have some notes on college football before we dive back into this that you wanted to touch on a little bit.
Well, we can. It has something to do with this. There's nothing major here. We knew Alabama. The quarterback Lane Hatcher transferred. I think he was fifth quarterback. Didn't get to play much, so he transferred back to Arkansas State. He was from Arkansas. I think they still have 5 quarterbacks on their quarterback list, so and they're not hurting. But the next thing could be when we talk about especially the SEC West. All right, this could be one of the things that you end up stumbling on. Mississippi State, and I'm kind of putting 2 and 2 together here, and I made a couple of calls. I saw this in an article, and I made a couple of calls to find out, and it was verified that it's absolutely true. Mississippi State got a transfer quarterback, kid named Tommy Stevens. He transferred from Penn State. And actually Joe Moorhead would have known him and probably recruited him up at Penn State when he was at Penn State, because that's where he came from to be the head coach there last year. Now, you have to remember Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Arkansas, all these teams in that what we'll call the second tier of the SEC, they're not going to line up and knock people off the ball and beat them. They're just not going to line up and do it. Say, well, it's a great offense. They can really run the football. But you meet up against somebody who has matching personnel on the other side.
Right.
You're not going to just line up and butt them off the ball. The thing you have to do is you have to be able to throw the football, screen, draw, do all the cute things, keep them moving from the sideline, change of pace, all the things that worry defenses. Most of all, you got to make them defend 53.5 yards in width and at least 60 yards in depth on the field. Now, if you can do that, you got a chance to win. I don't care who you are. And the only way you can do that is with a forward pass, okay? This Tommy Stevens is and the reason I'm going into a little detail on this with Mississippi State is because they're in the SEC West. Now, here comes a gunslinger, maybe. He's 6'5", 240, can run, can move around. Running is not what he's going to be doing. He's got, they say, a great arm. Not a good arm, but a great arm. Can throw it through a brick wall. Got some touch on it. Got some, can put it in the window and has some accuracy. If all that is true, they're going to have a guy there that can beat anybody on a given Saturday. I don't care if it's Alabama, LSU, Florida, whoever it is. It doesn't matter. They can win it. Now, keep in mind, one thing I will say about our friend down at Florida, he liked a quarterback from day one who could run with the football. And Fitzgerald, the quarterback that was there last year, was more of a runner than a passer, by far. He was like a running back there. He carried the ball. He was their leading rusher, was their quarterback. The same was true if you go back and look at the history. At Florida, they liked the running quarterback and totally there for a long time, and certainly that became true with Tebow. They liked his ability to run with the football. Probably had more running opportunities with Tebow than they did passing, which I think was wrong. But anyway, they did well, so give them credit. But this kid is a passer. He's a true passer. Now, the only reason I'm going through all this is because if with somebody like that, and if Mississippi State can rise up and keep people off him, play some defense, play defense well enough that people aren't just going to run up and down the field on them, they got a chance to beat people with a gunslinger like that. So now you start factoring in, and you say LSU, Texas A&M, Alabama, and every time you see Mississippi State up there, you put a win up for them. But they're Mississippi State's going to beat some people along the way, I think, with a guy like that. Plus, if you look at their schedule, they've got their toughest games, they've got at home. They got LSU at home. They've got Alabama at home. They are at Texas A&M, but they've got Alabama and LSU at home this year with a gunslinger there. So I'm not saying they're going to win these ball games,
right?
But I am saying that there's another stumbling block there that you can't just throw a win somebody's way.
Absolutely, Coach. And again, not saying that they would upset Alabama and Starkville, but again, the first big question mark for Alabama that we talked about for this upcoming season was their secondary. So a guy like that definitely could take advantage of any kind of gaps or windows that's open in that secondary. So, Coach, we'll get back to this list now. Looking at Auburn, they are the next team here. They've got several different what-ifs here, and obviously with a team like Auburn, you know, the year they're expected to have this year, they're going to have quite a few. And, Coach, we got to start it off. A freshman quarterback doesn't play, and doesn't play like a freshman quarterback, excuse me. So what they're needing is they're going to need a guy like a Bo Nix to step up, or even a Joey Gatewood to step up, and they're going to need them to play like they're a junior, and like they've been at Auburn a couple of years, Coach, and they've been in that offensive system before. And I think if you look at the landscape of the Auburn offense, especially coming out of the bowl game against Purdue, Coach, it's just my opinion, but I have a feeling that Bo Nix will be the starting quarterback for the Auburn Tigers, because I think Gus Malzahn taking over the offensive play calling for the Tigers, he's going to want to go to more of a passing up-tempo style offense and get more away from that running attack. And with a guy like Bo Nix, who is the top pocket passer in the state of Alabama and one of the top pocket passers in the country, you've got a guy in there that's capable of running that offense. Now, also, Coach, with that being said, the offensive line has to be a lot better than they were a year ago. They've got the receivers now. They've got a couple of quarterbacks back there. That offensive line has got to give them pressure. And then on the flip side of the ball, the defensive line has to get pressure on the offensive backfield as well. So, Coach, Auburn expected to have a tough year because they've got a lot of hard games, just a tough schedule for them in 2019, really. And that's kind of what's lending towards them expected to be struggling. But you got to take a look at this team, Coach, and Auburn's got the playmakers. They've got an opportunity. If Bo Nix, like this says, if Bo Nix or even Joey Gatewood can be a freshman but play like a higher class, like a junior, or somebody that just has been there and give production to this offense, Coach, Auburn could surprise some people in some games.
Well, they could. They certainly could. But here's the way you got to kind of look at Auburn. Now, they are going to be good defensively, and anytime you're that good defensively, you're going to have a chance to beat anybody because if they can't score, they can't beat you. Now, so they're going to be, what I hear, and they're a top 5 defense. Now, they were a good defense last year. They slipped some. So they got to stay steady, and that defense has to stay right on target. They have to be the best. They're going to be playing with, like you say, with a freshman quarterback. I understand this Nix kid is really something special, but he is a freshman. And then over on offense, on who's calling the plays, Malzahn now is going to go back to calling the plays. I don't know that he really wants to do that. Maybe he does, and obviously he does. He's taking it back, but they've gone back and forth on that. So I don't know that they're really, really settled on what they want to do offensively, especially with a freshman quarterback coming in. Those would be my doubts. They got to play great defense. This schedule, when you said it's brutal, that's an understatement. I'm telling you, they've got Oregon, and don't be surprised if Oregon doesn't beat them now, that opening ball game. And then they're at Texas A&M. They got Mississippi State. They're at Florida, at Arkansas, at LSU. They got Georgia and they got Alabama. The 2 out of the last 3 games coming down the pike. So, what do you say? I mean, you better be buckled up and ready to go. It's going to be a tough year, and they got to stay consistent. Now, you got to whatever offense you have, you got to keep that offense going. You got to stay consistent week in, week out, and defensively, they've obviously got to stay. That's their biggest hope to me is defense.
All right, Coach. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and take another time out here on Talk Football with Coach K. So we'll be right back again right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
Escape Plan, The Extractors.
What goes around comes around, Ray Breslin.
Ray!
Abby!
I'm sorry about Abby. Where do you think this place is? Devil's Station. Bad place, Ray. What's our way in? Deploying drone now.
We got visitors!
Starring Sylvester Stallone, Dave Bautista, and Curtis 50 Cent Jackson.
I'm done with prisons.
Escape Plan, The Extractors. Watch it on Blu-ray, digital, and on demand July 2nd. Rated R.
Hi, Buster Olney here, and my friends at Marathon are really helping you save because right now you can get 5 cents off every gallon every day with Make It Count rewards from Marathon. Plus, you can earn points for additional savings on fuel, airfare, hotels, and more. It's quick and easy to join. Just visit makeitcount.com/radio or download the free app. So start saving today with Make It Count from Marathon. Offer valid only at participating Marathon locations. Marathon, fueling the American spirit.
Hulu's paying Tobin Heath, Carly Lloyd, Mallory Pugh, and other U.S. soccer stars a lot of money to do a new goal celebration called Hulu Has Live Sports. Why? It's simple. Because Hulu has live sports. You can watch the biggest games and sporting events like the Women's World Cup this summer on 60-plus top channels. No cable required. Plus, you can stream the entire Hulu library. Start your free trial of Hulu today. Live TV plan required. Restrictions apply. Learn more at hulu.com.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming on our website, ESPNpensacola.com. Welcome into Talk Football with Coach K. Again, if you want to be a part of today's show, 850-972-1945, 850-972-1945. That is both our studio line and our text line. So just go ahead and either give it a call or a text, and we'll get you on here with Talk Football with Coach K. All right, Coach, want to take a look at another college football schedule here as we continue to roll on through this as we lead up to the 2019 season. Coach, I want to start off and take a look at a team we haven't looked at in the SEC yet. It's the Vanderbilt Commodores. And, Coach, this is a tough one for them. They start off the season August 31st at home, but, Coach, they're going to be welcoming in the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah. Tough way to open the season for anybody, much less Vandy. They'll make it tough early, but there's no way they're going to beat Georgia, I don't think.
All right, Coach, then they'll hit the road and go to Ross-A-D Stadium in West Lafayette to take on the Purdue Boilermakers.
And that's going to be another tough one, especially on the road. Keep in mind, Vandy lost their quarterback, too. They've got another quarterback coming in, so that's not going to be easy to do, and especially playing Georgia, that tough first game, and then go on the road. Purdue's not a slouch, so, yeah, they should win that. Purdue should win it.
All right, Coach, especially with that Jeff Brom offense there with the Boilermakers. So tough start to the season for Vandy, and I think it's only going to get tougher from here, Coach, as they go into a bye week on September 14th. Then they come out of that September 21st. They have to welcome in the LSU Tigers to Nashville.
Well, you know what that means. That's unless LSU just blows it, LSU should win that ball game and win it. I don't say they're going to blow them out, because not many people are going to blow Vandy out. Now, you're going to beat them just because you got more talented people and more depth, period. And you just keep running wave after wave after wave at them. And pretty soon, the second half, they can't keep up. So LSU should win that game.
All right, Coach, coming up next for them, they'll stay at home at Vanderbilt Stadium, and they'll welcome in on September 28th the Northern Illinois Huskies.
Well, I think they should beat the Northern Illinois Huskies. I'm glad they're getting Northern Illinois into Nashville, and give their kids a chance to win a ball game right there. My goodness, they deserve it after Georgia and LSU and being on the road at Purdue. They deserve this one, so yeah, they win it.
All right, Coach. Following that, they'll hit the road going to Vaught Hemingway Stadium in Oxford. October 5th, they'll take on the Ole Miss Rebels again in Oxford.
I don't know. Neither team
All right, Coach, so that's going to drop them to 1-4 to start off the year. Coach, they'll head back home to Vanderbilt Stadium, welcoming the UNLV Rebels.
Well, they're going to face a talented football team, but at home and with the toughness that they'll be able to play with, I don't think UNLV will have played anybody that'll get after them like Vandy will. So I say they win that. They win that one at home.
All right, Coach, back into SEC play as they take on SEC East opponent Missouri Tigers at home on October 19th.
You know, this is one they should probably circle and look at a win here. Missouri, after Locke, the quarterback graduated, so they're going to be coming in with another quarterback. And if they try to use the same type of offense they did before, they need a guy who can throw the football. Let's give Vandy an edge at home here against Mizzou.
All right, Coach. They're getting back a little bit into the win column here. 3-4 so far on the year. They'll head into their second off week of the year on October 26th before heading to Williams-Brice Stadium to take on Will Muschamp and the South Carolina Gamecocks.
That's good. This could be a good ball game, but I think right now, again, we have to preface by saying again, reminding our audience out there that we're picking these games now, like all coaches do and like all of us like to do, and taking a look at their schedule game by game gives you a better idea. But you don't know. There's no way we can factor in the number of injuries that a team would have, any other distractions that may be going on. But I gotta give South Carolina an edge at home there against the Vandy group, and Muschamp will have that game. He'll have that as a must game.
All right, Coach. They'll come off of that game, staying on the road. They'll head to Gainesville to take on the Florida Gators.
Yeah, another biggie. I can't see Florida losing that game. If they do, they've got some problems. But I can't see Florida losing that ball game. Just too many, and too much talent.
All right, Coach. Then November 16th, they'll head back home to Vanderbilt Stadium, welcoming in the Kentucky Wildcats.
This is another one Kentucky better really be careful. Of course, Vandy's coming off that game with Florida, and who do they have after Kentucky?
They have ETSU, the Buccaneers. I believe that I want to East Tennessee State. Yep. Yeah.
Well, listen, they're gonna really be up for this ball game, and I really I'd almost want to give them a win here. Let's do it and see how it comes out. Give Vandy a win.
All right, so that'll put them at 4-6 heading into the last 2 weeks. Crucial games for them, Coach. They went out, they're bowl eligible, and they've got, like we said, East Tennessee State coming up November 23rd at home, Vanderbilt Stadium.
They should beat East Tennessee State.
All right, Coach, it all comes down to this, a game in Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. They're going to be taking on the Tennessee Volunteers to close out the regular season, needing this win to become bowl eligible.
I got a feeling Tennessee might be needing this win to become bowl eligible as well. And Tennessee's going to, they got better last year, near the end of the season, from midseason on. I think they're going to be a better football team. I know they'll be a better football team this year, and they'll get better during the year. So I got to give that to Tennessee, especially being at home.
All right, Coach, that puts Vanderbilt at 5-7 for 2019. Coach, you look at Derek Mason, and this is a guy that has kind of taken over a program that I think expectations might have gotten a little too high for with James Franklin there, because there was a season where they won 8 or 9 games. They were going to bowl games almost every year under James Franklin before he left to go to Penn State. Now Coach Derek Mason comes in and takes over. Coach, are we going to start hearing rumbling and grumblings from, maybe some boosters and some people in the athletic department, not maybe necessarily Vanderbilt fans, but people inside the department about the job that Derek Mason's doing? Because this is a Vanderbilt team that was a talented football team, but has been on the decline since he took over. So, Coach, are we going to start to hear with a 5-7 record, or maybe even a worse record, Are we going to start to hear those rumblings about Derek Mason?
All coaches have that same possibility, and it's there for anybody, and certainly Mason's not immune to it. He'll hear it from some, but for the most part, the Vandy people are very patient. They understand what they're up against. They're an Ivy League school playing the SEC. Now they do make some constellations that you don't have in the Ivy League. Obviously, they can give scholarships and they can recruit people with a little better situation with their athletics than would Harvard or Yale. But for the most part, I mean, they're not a whole heck of a lot different than Rice. You got to be a Phi Beta Kappa to get in Rice University, and so it's tough on them. It's very, very difficult. But no, I don't. To answer your question, yeah, he could hear from some, but I wouldn't think it would be too drastic.
All right, Coach, I want to stick with Vanderbilt here. One more question. Taking a look at their schedule here, we have them picked to win Missouri and win Kentucky. But, Coach, is there another game here on their SEC schedule? They've got road games against Florida and South Carolina. And then, of course, Coach, to start off, they've got Georgia and LSU. But you throw in Ole Miss and, of course, Tennessee there at the end of the year. Coach, is there an SEC game that maybe we have them picked as losing that you could see them maybe pulling the upset and actually pulling out an impressive win and kind of giving a little kind of vice versa of what I was mentioning with Derek Mason? Instead of, if the grumblings do start, it'd be a caliber type of win that would kind of put those to rest for at least a little bit.
Well, let's look at South Carolina. That's a tough one to pick, really. South Carolina better be ready right there, I'll tell you that. And then, there are a couple of schools up there that I think Florida better be ready for them. Vanderbilt could knock off any number of teams. See, that's the thing about a team like Vandy. They could. I never forget watching years ago down at Florida Field when Vandy came in and the quarterback was the kid that he just finished up. He was playing with the Bears and was that
Jay Cutler.
Mm-hmm. And there's no way Vandy should have lost that ball game. None. It went into overtime. And if Florida doesn't get a pass interference call on Vandy, they lose the ball game. Vandy beat them up and down the field really all day. So those are the type things that can happen when you play a team like Vanderbilt, and they could beat anybody. Now, there's no way. I think Florida was probably a 3-touchdown favorite going into that ball game. But you see what happens. And they could, to answer your question, absolutely, they could knock somebody else off.
All right, Coach. Well, we'll take our final timeout of the show. When we come back, we'll wrap things up right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
There's only one place in town for the lowest prices and greatest selection of firearms. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Visit our fully stocked Gun Pro Shop for new and used firearms, accessories, and ammunition. Check out the Indoor Shooting Range. We offer rentals on guns, including fully automatic machine guns and silencers. Ladies, this is the safe place to learn how to use a gun. Plus, Tuesday is Ladies' Day. Women shoot for half price all day. The best place to buy firearms in Pensacola. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Highway 29 in Car City.
Progressive presents Get Pumped. Inspiration to help you do insurance stuff.
Hey, are you just gonna stand there and let people not give you credit for being a good driver? You deserve discounts on car insurance, and that's what Snapshot from Progressive is for. So why aren't you signing up? You need music to get pumped? Hit it! Drum solo! Ow, that hurts my fingers. Ow, ow.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California, North Carolina, or from all agents.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Don't drop the ball this football season. Make Tom Thumb your game day destination. We are your first round pick for snacks, chips, dips, and drinks. Are you tailgating before the game? Don't get blindsided. Head to Tom Thumb for all your supplies. Score big savings with our rewards card. You'll earn 4 fuel points for every dollar spent in store. From hot dogs and buns to ice and propane, Tom Thumb has you covered to help you enjoy the game. For the ultimate game day, team up with Tom Thumb, the local store for local champions.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WICT. Welcome back into Talk Football with Coach K. If you want to be a part of today's show, 972-1945, 972-1945. I'm Jordan Glass, joined alongside me as always, Coach K, and we are having a lot of fun on today's show. Want to wrap it up, taking a look at some headlines. Coach, Amari Cooper has come out and said, look, the Oakland Raiders just weren't a good fit for me. Seems to be happy now with Dallas. And, Coach, we've seen this before. I don't think this is anything that Oakland Raider fans should be upset or alarmed about. This a new coaching staff came in, and sometimes when that happens, players feel that it's best for them to go on to a different area, a different location. I think that's all we're seeing here with Amari Cooper.
I think you're right. It's just a matter of him moving to a different style of play, and he may be more accustomed to it. Also, there's, some kids really don't adjust to that California way of life, and vice versa. Kids from California, we always had to make sure that we did a thorough round out on them mentally with kids from California coming back to Buffalo, for example. So sometimes there are things you don't think about like that just don't gee-haw.
All right, Coach. Joe Theismann came out, about a week or so ago, and he said that Dwayne Haskins should sit out the entire 2019 season. He's caught some flack from some people from that, the latest being NFL.com's Bucky Brooks, who wrote an article, which you can go and check out, basically stating that Joe Theismann was wrong in his idea that Dwayne Haskins should sit out the entire year and just kind of learn how to be an NFL quarterback before actually becoming an NFL quarterback. Coach, I'm kind of confused as to why a lot of people are kind of going after Joe Theismann on this, because it seems like a smart idea, because as we've talked about before on the show, Coach, you look at guys in the league. Andrew Luck sat under Peyton Manning for a couple of seasons. You've got a guy like Aaron Rodgers who sat under Brett Favre, and it's worked out well for them. They were able to learn how to prepare the proper way, and when the job was theirs to take, they knew exactly how to prepare and be ready for the job, rather than being a rookie who's green behind the ears and has never done it before. Coach, this is a situation I'm not necessarily understanding why so many people are going after Joe Theismann and kind of condemning him for saying that Dwayne Haskins should sit out the rest of the year.
Well, that's ridiculous. Joe's actually trying to espouse something that he feels would be good for the kid, and he genuinely means that. And I do too. I mean, I think if he could have a solid year under a good quarterback, going through the system and learning. Now, remember, he only played 1 year. He only started 1 year at Ohio State. So he has not had a lot of experience. I think he's going to be an outstanding pro quarterback. But I really feel that he, of all people, would benefit with a year watching and learning. Now, you don't really know. Here's the other thing. Here's the other factor. All these people should, Bucky Brooks should put in, keep his opinion maybe a little softer. You don't really know until you get through preseason,
right,
whether a kid is ready to play or not. Now, if they preordain for whatever reasons, some people preordain that he's going to be the starter and should be the starter and should be talking about him being the starter right now. And you get through preseason and you know that he's not ready. He's just not ready for that level. What do? Now you've got a problem on your hands. You really pull the rug out from under the kid if you have to start somebody else, or you leave him in there and he may get crushed. And I still think that's one thing that happened to Carr, the older Carr that went to Houston. They just threw him out there with an expansion team, and he just got killed. And he went downhill. He really went downhill. Didn't have a chance. So I think that's ridiculous to be after Joe Theismann or saying what he did. He's the one person that sounds sane in the whole deal.
All right, Coach. I want to take a look at some NFL career records here, and some that are in position to possibly be broke in 2019. I want to go over some of these and get you to see if maybe real quick if they could be broken or not. Coach, career passing touchdown record, it's sitting at 539. It's held by Peyton Manning, but Drew Brees and Tom Brady could challenge that and actually break that record this upcoming season. Coach, do you think that happens?
No. No, I don't. I just think that there's too much at this point that they would have to overcome to do that with the receivers and who they have on each team.
All right, Coach, how about career pass attempts? Right now it's sitting at 10,169 pass attempts for a career, held by Brett Favre. Coach, do you think Drew Brees can break that in 2019?
That could happen. Yeah, that could happen. Because I think they're going to have to depend on Brees. And if they get into games as you go through the year, they're going to be people are going to look at them. Pressure's on to go to the Super Bowl. So as things don't happen during a ball game, the running game's not there, or whatever, they're going to put more and more pressure on Brees to throw the football. So probably going to end up throwing it quite a bit.
All right, that is going to be all the time we have for on today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Talk Football with Coach K. For Coach K, I'm Jordan Glass. You guys have a great Monday. We'll be back tomorrow at noon right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Don't forget about the Sports Drive coming up later on this afternoon at 5. Blue Wahoo Baseball following that. And, of course, the Stephen A. Smith Show coming up next right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.